want to hop back on real quick about what we talked about like yesterday about social media and dance. Like, your thoughts on that. It doesn't have to like, you know, because I run social media. A lot of people, I could see both the bad and good sides. Yeah, we elaborated a lot about that yesterday. So your thoughts? Doesn't have to be in a particular order.
Okay, it took me a long time to even get into social media, but I think when it comes to dance and now being a part of it and using it, I use it as a tool. And see how you were able to use it as a tool. I've been hired on gigs through it and things like that. I've been hit up because of things I've posted through my social media. So in that way, it's really great. But as we talked before about it, it doesn't display everything about who you are, about your life. It doesn't give a whole picture of you, even as a dancer or artist or whatever you're portraying yourself to be out there. But if you're using it as a tool and a resource to do the things that you do, that's great. But for me, I notice people look at it as, oh, that's what you're doing. Like I have sometimes many people who, based off my Instagram, will be like, oh, you're in Mexico? Oh, you're in Mexico? And I'm like, no, I'm not. I just posted that, but okay. But it becomes almost as if it's like... it's almost as if it's now like a telephone or a texting matter, and that's when it gets a little bit weird. Because I'm like, if it's not for a job, please don't assume that everything that I put out there is exactly what I'm doing. I'm not going to share some things. Like nowadays, I try not to get too private because now I am using it as a business tool. So I don't need to show everybody what I ate for lunch, what I ate for breakfast, where I'm going on Sunday on my day off, or hey, it's my mom's birthday, or blah blah blah, this, and I don't know. It's riding a thin line for me. So I'm trying to like set some boundaries for my social media nowadays, because it's getting to be too much.
Way too much. I totally agree with that, and I feel the same way, and I've been doing the same thing. Been streamlining my Instagram accounts to just be one thing, kind of, with less personal information. Just because, I use it for business. You look on there, you're gonna see my headshots, you're gonna see me dancing, you're gonna see the art projects I do, you can see the people that I am building with when it's a cool job that looks cool. And so for me, it's something that I use when I submit for an application. Yep. I send them all my links, and my social media is one of them. So I use that stuff to look good for work, and also for work to come to me through social media, and that's cool. But a lot of people get the wrong impression from it because that's not their account. Their account is a personal account where they show their baby and their food, and we're going bowling, That's great. That's totally cool. However, I don't like to share that much information about myself. And even when I do post stuff, it's always later after the time. Like, for example, right now we're doing school shows. I'm not going to go to a school and be like, hey, I'm here at Ridgeview Elementary in Moline, Illinois. We're here right now about to do this show. Because that's just not safe. And in general, you want to protect your information and your location so that just you don't put yourself in a predicament or compromise your own safety, because people are literally prowling these accounts and trolling them sometimes randomly, and I just do it. I don't think anybody's gonna target me or try to victimize me or anything like that, honestly, but I do it as a practice to keep my information safe and to keep my accounts more professional and more based around that, because you don't need to see my personal stuff. That's for me, my family, my friends. And when I decide to post that stuff, enjoy it. But other than that, no. And so I think too, there is a side of consuming. So what you look at, and what I have decided, I've sort of made the choice. I just want to look at positive stuff. I understand there's a lot of crazy shit going on. But you know what? Crazy stuff is always going on. And now on social media, everyone just posts it every single time. And I don't need to see all that. I need to keep my brain and my thought process clear and positive so I can continue to do positive things in the world and continue to support the youth, the culture, this movement that we're already involved in. So that's another thing. I try not to scroll through or look at stuff that's going to get me riled up and make comments, because then those people comment back and blah, blah, blah. You have this whole interaction with someone who literally may never leave their own house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got people on social
true.
media that's going to say they run a clothing line or say they're this or that, and they are nobody. You know what I mean? And I have seen some of these things personally, like
Catfishing.
really weird stuff that is so random that only happens because of this social media situation. And I just decide not to engage those people because they're of a lower vibrational frequency. And when people try to engage me, I always remove myself from that because I don't need to be a part of your ignorant interaction. I'm sorry, but you're contributing to the opposite of evolution for human beings. You're contributing to people getting dumber and being more addicted to this inaccurate, misleading information. Okay? And that's not what I'm about. I'm about promoting positivity, peace, love, unity, having fun, hip hop culture, b-boying, and graffiti art. That's what I do.
And I love that because it's like, even though people talk about a lot about the whole, social media is this, that, and the third, it's like how it's negatively affecting it. But people also overlook the fact that the good that social media has also done for other people as well. Because we're trying to be a stand for that, to be more than just here's my life or here's something I'm complaining about with the current situation in the U.S. As humans, we have a tendency to focus on the negative because that's what helped us survive, prehistoric ages or in the early days of being cavemen. But I think what social media has allowed for a lot of people is to really build something out of their passion as well. Yeah. Because, if this were the 90s, we would not have the opportunity to put ourselves out there as easily compared to now. We can't, especially with all these SoundCloud artists blowing up.
Yep.
Yeah.
In the 90s, you would have had to go through
Spotify.
You would have to go through an A&R and all that. It's made it easy. It's given everyone an opportunity. Yeah. At the same time, there's the sleazeballs that try to just use it for their own benefit instead of creating.
Non-stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and that, just to piggyback on what you're saying, I want people to know, I'm not a person that's trying to put a blinder on to things that are happening in this world. I'm a person that if you look at what I do and what I'm promoting, I'm somebody who's doing something in real life about these things, not arguing with trolls on social media about it, because that is fucking pointless. Yeah. Okay? Once again, this person is somebody that could be in their mom's basement and never leave, or they could work for the freaking anybody, anything. You know what I mean? So I don't have time for that. What I promote is an answer through my way of life. And it's not about denying that these things are happening. Yeah. It's about taking a real action in life, not on social media, not through some heated debate with some ignorant person somewhere else. Yeah. Because let's face it, y'all, they're still gonna wake up, eat their biscuits and gravy, and go about doing their ignorant thing, whatever it is. And it's not my responsibility to wake you up. However, if I present something to you and you are that person, and you look at that without a sort of political or ideological spin on it, and you look at my artwork, let's say if I painted a mural, or you see me breakdancing, and you go, oh, well, that's real cool. Guess what? You just co-sign peace, love, unity, having fun, diversity, all people of all nations coming together. Subconsciously, you are accepting these things. Yeah. And that's what I'm about, is promoting that. So
so it's really about not what you're typing. Anyone can be a keyboard warrior.
Anybody can.
Anyone can also quote something from everywhere else. But it's really about actions speaking louder than words.
Oh yeah.
And then, all right, you were saying? Great. Anyway,
shut up. You see? That's another thing.
We can talk. You can jump on that after what you wanted to say about.
It's so rude. Yeah. Anyways, I was really interrupted. Going off what Gil and Emeroy have both said, I think another thing that's important is utilizing it as a tool, but not seeing it as, I guess, a scapegoat. People, I think Gil mentioned it, it's like you're portraying yourself to be a certain way, but it's not consistent with the way you actually live your life. Then in reality, you're just using it to put up a facade, and you're not keeping up with that facade. And that's unfortunate, because when people see you in person, be it if you're like a social media star, celebrity, a dancer, an artist, or whatever, you would hope that the things that you're putting out there, let's say quotes or videos or footage of you doing something like volunteering, in reality, you're not just putting it out there to let your points go up higher and make you look a certain way, when in reality, you're not doing those things. Because another thing that I've noticed being a teacher is that kids are really looking at this right now to find their icons, people that they want to emulate and and not copy, but want to look to as people to follow.
Yeah.
So I had to have a couple of conversations with my students in which I'm like, I understand people are sharing certain things and all that, but really look into who they are. Like, as a person, have you met them yet? And if you can't meet them yet, is it consistent outside of social media, the things they do, they say, and all of that?
Yeah.
So I think it's really important to know even what your presence means on there, because if you don't even know what your presence means to other people, even if they're strangers, it's like it's important to know that what you're putting out there is the truth.
I think because you just reminded me of a particular like entrepreneur I looked up to.
Mm-hmm.
Like some real shit just
Yep.
came out like about him recently about something pretty scandalous. Like the stuff he would preach online, it was like super
Exactly.
positive or
Yeah.
like uplifting. But then in the back, and then in like not literally in the back, but behind the scenes, he was a
Yeah.
sleazebag, a friend of someone who knew him.
It's a sleazebag.
A friend of his told this person like he doesn't really believe any of the stuff he's talking about.
He's
online.
just putting it out
Yeah.
there.
And it got him great publicity. He's a 2-time New York best-selling author.
You see, and those are the things I'm starting to notice, because when you see some people and you see what they put out there, but then you encounter them in person, and it's their words aren't consistent with their behavior. That's where the problem lies. It's like now it is a game of catfish all the time.
Yeah, it reminds me of like those TV shows, like, oh, you meet your hero and your hero is a complete asshole.
And they disappoint you.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that is important. And
That's a huge responsibility, especially if, people who blow up as YouTube stars or online, it's not just were they getting the benefit of the attention, but because of that attention, they have an impact on other people.
On their
and I
lives.
think that's something that they don't always realize. Like something you say, like even like the whole Tide Pod challenge. I don't even know how that started, but like
what is it?
the Tide Pod challenge? Have you guys heard?
No.
Did you guys hear about that?
No.
Last year that was like the biggest thing. Like teenagers
No clue.
were eating Tide Pods.
I'm sorry, they were eating Tide Pods?
Yeah.
For what?
Once again, this is what I call the de-evolution of humanity.
Wait, they were eating
They're
Tide
eating Tide
Pods.
Pods.
For what? Like, what was the...
detergent?
Detergent. Yeah. I guess
It's a detergent.
I know. I'm just thinking
it's
they
one of those-
opened it and swallowed it.
Yeah.
So coming from a nurse perspective, they are poisoning themselves. Kids
Yeah,
are poisoning themselves.
That, again,
It's a
that
funny video.
it goes back to that having that responsibility, especially though like those who have a lot of the attention to realize what the kind of impact that they have on especially the kids, because the kids are on social media way more than the adults, especially kids. If they asked me a lot because the camera, I was like, oh, you're on YouTube. Kids are watching YouTube way more than TV and Netflix. They're on YouTube and then teens are on Instagram, and then what do they see? Friggin' not hating anyone who's like a model or anyone who's like, doing their hustle, but that's what they see, and that's what they think they have to be in order to feel validated.
And it creates, along with that, it creates a false reality, because it's like that
Definitely.
validates you, or people try to insult somebody who has like a successful Instagram account or who's famous just to get a response. Just that response is like, yo, I got Puff Daddy to respond to me calling him a bunch of names that ain't even
Exactly,
true.
exactly.
And it's like my generation
negative.
where I come from is like the beginning of the internet being
Yep.
very prevalent.
Yeah.
That's where we
However,
come from.
I'm from graffiti. So in graffiti, when people do stuff like that, you find them and you go to you don't just find out who they are, you find out like where they work, who they're dating, who their friends are, kind of thing. And so it's like, what's better, me talking crap to you on Instagram and just having it go on forever? Or if I show up at your work and then all of a sudden you're face to face with me, or if I show up when you're on a date with your girlfriend and all of a sudden you got to deal with me in person, not on Instagram, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's some real shit. Most of these people are not ready for it all. It's like, yo, we still live in the real world.
Exactly.
Man. You're not living in virtual reality. You don't live on Instagram. You live here.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna say those things about somebody, or troll somebody, or hurt somebody's feelings, or be like harassing people, somebody like me will bring it straight to your face.
Yep.
And you don't want that. You know what I mean? Like all those things that you said, I guarantee you wouldn't say them to my face. You know what I mean? Or to the face of somebody who's representing the interest of someone that you're harassing or trolling. So, don't live in that fake reality, yo.
Yeah.
There's nothing good there for you. Live in real life. you know, and use social media to help you. I use it to help me. When I go traveling to other places, unfortunately here didn't have anybody that I could connect with, but when I go traveling to other places, like I've done cultural ambassador, arts envoys in other countries. When I went there, I linked with local artists and dancers because I met them on Instagram. And I said, yo, I'm coming out there. I'm going to be doing some wall productions. We're going to be doing some dance practice at this or that place. Or this, you know, show up and meet us. Show up and meet up with us. You know what I mean? And it has worked amazingly well. And it also enhanced my program and made me look better in front of the embassy and the people that are hosting me because it's like I gain resources that way. You know, when I go, I have all my resources lined up as far as this is where we can buy all the paint for our program. This is where we can get these materials for our program. We can go and do a mural at this place on our day off and other things like that. So for me, I think it's a tremendous tool. It's very powerful, but it's like light and dark. You got to make sure you're staying on the light side of it because the dark side of it, it's not just, you know, looking at a fucked up video of someone getting killed or whatever. It's like letting that information affect you and turning into a negative type of person by consuming that. You know, you don't want to consume that. Think about that. You are your thoughts. You know what I mean? Your thoughts reflect what you're going to go and act out in real life. And if you're thinking about all this dark stuff, it's not good for you. You know, we have to change the world by being positive and supporting each other. You know what I mean? And promoting positivity in this world and getting along. Sorry, my hands are cold.
I was like this, but he's right.
No, like, I 100%.
Don't feed yourself that darkness.
Like the whole thing about whatever you're feeding your thoughts, it's like literally when this meme I saw about your diet, not just what you're eating, it's what you're intaking.
It's your mind, body, and soul.